It says that I'm live for 5 whole seconds. I'll give you guys a few minutes to come on in and see what's going down. This is just cray cray. Absolutely cray cray. So I was having all kinds of technical difficulty. I'd been on my live for about half an hour and the screen was blank. Billy, darling, I love your new handle. Hey, hey, girlfriend. You are awesome. Thank you so much for coming back. I hadn't seen you in a long time, so and Anna Bees is back. I was really excited to see my people here. And what a wild day. So I'm hoping against hope that this isn't like the beginning of crazy times, right? I mean, we've been in crazy times already. Oh, we've got 3 of my favorites here. Wow, so cool to see you guys. And look at all your hearts. Thank you, thank you. We back. Let's see if I can highlight that one. Pin message. See, it used to be when I was live on my cell phone vertical like this, I couldn't pin a message and the messages would disappear really quickly. So at least I can interact with you guys. So that's nice. And yeah, where was I? I was just going off the deep end. So I was talking about, I just started talking about HACKman, Gene HACKman. But let me do my disclaimer real quick because I don't want to be offensive. I don't want to be making accusations. Everything that I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All these videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. So I've been really fascinated with the Gene HACKman passing because it makes no sense. Sure, it makes sense that a 95-year-old could easily pass away from a heart condition confounded with the comorbidity of Alzheimer's. Big time. That makes sense. But his 64-year-old spouse passing away too does not make sense. And why does it keep saying everywhere that she's 65? Because she's not. She's 64 or 63. You know how I always get confused when I'm talking about the numbers, and I'm always doing the numbers like what year was it, how old were people, and then I start spinning and I lose track, and then I'm like, whoa, I got to stop with the numbers. Too many numbers. But let me see what happens when I look up his wife for her birthday. Let's see what happens when I look up her birthday. Betsy and him, they got married in 1991. So here it says, and this is dated from a month ago, it says that she was 63. I wonder if she's had a birthday since. Oh man, see, that's what happened before when my phone froze up, was somebody called. People need to quit calling me. Didn't Quaid say something weird about it all too? Did HACKman have enemies? I just don't understand the whole mummification thing. And then something is going on with the money now too, allegedly. Yeah, so this is my thing, and I'm buffering now. I guess I gotta quit talking about things that matter. Let's just talk about my jewelry. Yeah, so his estate is worth over $80 million. I've been looking up all kinds of random stuff and not so random stuff about the case and about the laws and about all of it. So, you know, Betsy was a cheerleader for a professional soccer team in Los Angeles way back in the day. And I wrote down, it was the Aztecs. So Betsy was a cheerleader for the Aztecs. And then she was a production assistant on a game show called Card Sharks. And I'm just wondering how old she might have been when he met her, because her age is always changing. And when they met is always changing too. So they got married in 91. He wasn't divorced until 86. but they met in 83. So let's see what it says for Betsy's birthday. Um, and why do they always use her maiden name if she was, if she took HACKman's last name? That doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. Something's going on there, and I'm wondering if she might have been a mail order bride or something, or she might have been underage when he met her, like like B was with J, with Daisy, allegedly, right? She was born December 15th, 1959, in Honolulu, Hawaii, of Japanese descent. A musical prodigy, studied piano. And here it says she met HACKman when she was 25. Everywhere else it says 23. See, things are getting wacky with the numbers. Oh my goodness. Wait. No. HACKman was 25 when he met his first wife. I apologize. So Betsy, I'm going to read what it says about Betsy in Wikipedia. So, born December 15th, 1969, 59, which would make her, can we do some math? I can't do math. How old? I seriously can't do math right now. My brain is totally locking down. 1959. So add 16 years to that to make it 1975. And then 50 years. So that would mean that she was turning 56 this coming December. So she was 55 when she passed away. Sorry, 65. Like I said, can't do math. Okay, so she was 65 when she passed away. So, and you know, all of the different numbers online, that's just part of it, right? 66. Thank you, Billy Darling. Can I just call you Eat the Rich from now on? So, and yeah, you guys might be looking it up too. So it says, an American classical pianist and businesswoman, second wife of actor Gene Hackman. So she was 65, and so many places it says 63 and 64, but some of that is just the internet. The interweb is inaccurate. So born Honolulu, Hawaii, Japanese descent, musical prodigy, studied piano in elementary school, and performed at the Honolulu International Concert Hall at age 11. Wow. According to the Honolulu Star, she performed the final movement of Joseph Haydn's keyboard concerto in G major with the Honolulu Symphony Orchestra. Arakawa studied at the University of Southern California. That's a very prestigious school, USC. That's where O.J. Simpson won his Heisman Trophy. 81 to 83. Okay, so she was in Los Angeles, 81 to 83. During a summer break, she served as a cheerleader for the Los Angeles Aztecs, a professional soccer team. She worked as a production assistant on the television game show Card Sharks. And then she met HACKman in the 80s while working part-time at the Los Angeles Fitness Center. In 89, she performed at the Altenheim Geriatric Center in Forest Park, Illinois, which was used as a German nursing home in The Package, a film starring Gene Hackman. After dating for 7 years, they married on December 1st, 1981. So even with that math, if they married on December 1st, 91, after dating for 7 years, that would take it back to 84. And he didn't get divorced until 86. So that's pretty scandalous right there. I mean, if he was separated and already started the divorce process, that's one thing. But, you know, for a lot of these guys, having side things is part of life. It's just not even questioned. Nobody even bats an eyelash, right? So she was almost 30 years younger. She was 30 years younger. Exactly, Billy Darling. She had ambition to be famous. Naughty Jean. Rich people are gross. Well, like Smelania and little T cheating on her with a freaking porn star and then her staying married to him? Give me an effing break. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. And let's see. I'm going to keep reading this. It's pretty short. But what irony, it was called The Package, the movie that they allegedly met. Because, well, no, they'd already met in 83, it said. 84 was when they started dating. But then do the math. If she was born in 59, she would have been 20 in 79. And then she would have been 24 in 83 when they met. Allegedly, they met in 83, and allegedly she was 23. So they might be messing with the number of the year that she was born, too, right? Especially if they started dating when she was underage, because that is a crime that doesn't go away even if you married the person. So money, 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 money. Yeah, Jeff introduced DT and M, though she used to be Slavic model. Her pics were pretty provocative for that era. Yeah, I mean, she's gorgeous. I'll give her that. But yeah, she's disgusting to be married to such a awful human. In my humble opinion, they met at the Kit Kat Club. Yuck. You know, Kit Kat, rockin' Kit Kat. That reminds me of poor little Maddie Soto's disgusting mother. What 23-year-old wants to be intimate with an old man? So yeah, he was 53. If she met him when she was 23 and he's 30 years older, he was 53. And that's crazy. I mean, money, right? Money, 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 money. Just like Gunther me. Am I saying that right? Nacimiento. Slavic hooker model. Oh, very nice. Very nice, gross stuff. What are we talking about? Jackie Bushbull, we're talking about all the crazy in the world. So, trafficking, and what's up with the whole scandal of Gene Hackman's passing away and not being discovered for a week, her not being discovered for 2 weeks. I'm not buying this story that, and it has only been as of today that I'm like, you know what, I'm just not buying this story that a delivery person or some kind of groundskeeper type of person discovered them 2 weeks after she passed away, 1 week after Hackman passed away. I don't believe that they didn't have any people coming to their door for 2 weeks. I don't believe that they didn't get any deliveries for 2 weeks, and I don't believe that they didn't have any staff like personal assistants or housekeepers or groundskeepers. This was a 5-acre, 6-acre property, allegedly. You're going to need a lot of groundskeeping for that. And then a house of almost 9,000 square feet, you're going to need a lot of housekeeping for that. And I'm wondering if they didn't have a swimming pool and or a hot tub, because I can't imagine that they didn't at least have a hot tub, maybe a swimming pool too. And you have got to stay on top of those things. For anybody who has a hot tub or a swimming pool, you know how much work they are. And usually wealthy people have those things and they have a staff that takes care of them, right? takes care of the pool and or the hot tub. So not a word on the right how gross he is. How can mummification happen in a week? Well, it was 2 weeks for her. So with him, it was 1 week, and I don't think there were a couple of reports that he was a little bit mummified, but not really. The report was that she was mummified. She was starting the process of mummification, and even 2 weeks seems really short period for that, from what I've seen online. So she was stuck in a back bathroom with pills strewn about, and her head was near a space heater, and her hands and her feet were starting the mummification process. So we all know that he was discovered in what they call the mud room, kind of an entryway, and that there might have been glasses or sunglasses near him on the floor, so it looked like he had collapsed. And the estimation allegedly is that he was deceased for about a week, and she was deceased for about 2 weeks. And then one of their 3 dogs was in a crate, maybe in a closet not too far from Betsy. And I think that dog had had some type of veterinarian medical procedure on the 9th of February, maybe the 11th of February, but the 11th of February was the last time that she was seen running errands. She even had a conversation with a cashier at a grocery store. She seemed fine. Whereas if she really had that, what is it called? The hantavirus, the rat poop disease, she would have had flu-like symptoms for at least a day or 2 before she passed away, is what it seems like. She was a recluse. So both of them had not been seen in public for many, many, many years, up until about a year ago. It was March of 2024 that they were seen leaving a restaurant. But yeah, I read in one place that it had been 21 years since they were seen in public together. But I don't know if she ran all the errands or if they had personal assistants to do all that. Let me see. Billy, what? He was a predator. He picked me up at the ER for F's sake. What you talking about, Billy, darling? I'm sorry that I missed. I was dating a doctor when I was 23, and he was old and smelled like sandalwood, and I broke it off. Yikes. Gross. So yeah, sorry I missed a lot of your chat. I like to catch it all. I was a cutie pie. What choice did he have? Hantavirus. Thank you. One of the pictures they showed later in life, I noticed she had a PICC line in her hand. Interesting. Very interesting. Flu-like symptoms with the hantavirus. Right. And the whole thing with her being in the bathroom with the space heater near her and the pills strewn about, that might be genuine and authentic. And for some reason, to me, it sounds staged. Maybe just because I'm skeptical of everything all the time. So a PICC line for dialysis? Yikes. See, my mom had dialysis for 10 years. Treatment for something. My 20s were crazy, LOL. Well, I'm glad things calmed down. I was pretty crazy in my late teens. I kind of got it all out of my system and got my scene together for the most part when I was like 22, I think. So 35 years ago. PICC line is not used for dialysis. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Anna Bees, because my mom had dialysis 3 times a week, and she didn't have a PICC line for that. That was really rough. Really, really rough. Maybe she did have a PICC line for it. I mean, she had so many procedures going on with her body. It's hard for me. I get overwhelmed. At one point, she did have a PICC line, I think, in her chest. I remember when they were going to do one in her, femur. Things just got really, really bad the last 3 years. But she lived for 10 years with dialysis 3 times a week, which we're very lucky that she lasted that long. And dialysis is horrible. It's a really grueling process. You have to sit hooked up to one of these machines for like 5 hours. It literally takes all of your blood out of you, washes it, and puts it all back in. So it's exhausting. I mean, it sucks the blood out of you. And there's other ways to do it. Like, that's if you go to a dialysis center, which they're all over our country. But I had an aunt who also had dialysis who opted to do it at home, and that home dialysis took even longer. The problem with the dialysis, whether it's at a facility or at home, is that the room has to be sterile. So it's really hard to do it at home. But even with the dialysis professionally that my mother did at dialysis treatment locations, there was at least one time when it was not sterile and it almost took her out. So, yeah, I mean, keeping things sterile is very hard. But my point is, why would young lady want to be with old man, even if the money, I found it gross? Well, yeah, me too. Absolutely. I mean, things are just physically different, and yeah, we'll just leave it at that. And then especially as they continue to age, right? They place a TZO cath in your chest for dialysis and later place a shunt in your arm. So yeah, she had both of those antibes, and then at one point when things got really bad, about 6 years in and she almost passed, that was when they did a femur one through her thigh. And that's very dangerous because that's really hard to keep sterile because of the location. And so then they were able to start doing it in the arm or the chest again. And she continued to live for 4 years after that near passing, but she was bedridden for the last 3 years, like 100% bedridden. And it was awful, but she was so grateful just to be alive that she adjusted really well. It didn't really bother her. She had this zen about her where she was able to always focus on the positive. Even at the very end when she was like losing her eyesight, and you know, she was a very visual person, she was a visual artist, she still was just so appreciative to be alive. It was cute. She was inspiring. Absolutely. Yes, the PICC line for anything IV, and people are sent home with them sometimes for long-term antibiotics. Home health nurse will come in and give the antibiotics. So probably a home nurse came to see the HACKmans. Interesting, Billy darling. I mean, I was saying the last couple of times I've talked about the case, how overwhelming and not recommended it is for a person to care for someone with advanced Alzheimer's alone at home, for many reasons. Just for that person's mental health and health, because it's exhausting. It's probably impossible because you have to sleep and they might wake up in the middle of the night, so you really need to keep them monitored. But also they lash out, they get violent, they get frustrated. They have a very strong proclivity to get violent and lash out. So it's really not recommended to care for somebody with advanced stage Alzheimer's at home alone. So yeah, home health nurse. I have never seen one in the thigh femoral vein. Yeah, it was gross. And it was only because all of her other veins had collapsed. And they tried to get it into the chest and they couldn't. And like I said, it was very dangerous, high risk with the femoral vein. They said it's not going to last long. You've got to redo it somewhere else, or, you know, within a couple of months, you're going to probably go septic. And so they were able to redo it for her, and she continued, she maintained her life for another 3 or 4 years after that femoral vein. But like I said, that didn't last long. They switched it up pretty quick. Yes, with my mom, we had a baby monitor. We are back. OMG. So I've been on for this second live for 24 minutes. So what else did we want to talk about? Things getting hacked. So I don't know if my laptop was hacked. I don't know if my earlier live was hacked. But we know that Doge and Twitter got hacked in the last week or two, a total of 5 times. How does that happen with X and with Doge? 5 times. One of them was hacked 3 times. I think that was X. And the other one was hacked 2 times. That's just not good. It's absolutely not good. That's not secure systems. So I mentioned in one of my last lives how our country, the USA, got put on this CIVICUS watch list a couple of days ago. It's a human rights watch list. And I find that very concerning. Very, very concerning. I'm glad that we were put on the human rights watch list so that people that are concerned about human rights are watching our country. But this Civicus was started in Johannesburg in 1993. And they're keeping an eye on our nation because they're concerned about human rights being violated. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? So I need to, BoobTube says, gotta fly. Here, I'm gonna highlight that one if I can. Gotta fly, guys. Have to do a few things before my very last premiere on BoobTube TV. Just wanted to stop in and support you. So good to see my other friends in chat too. Lovely to see you. And yeah, we'll check out your premiere. There are some strange people coming into your chats too. And I want to welcome strange people and behave, you know? I mean, it's fine. Even if you're like a full-blown troll bot, it's fine. Just behave, because I have a 0 tolerance for that, especially right now. So it fascinates me that any kind of troll bots would even care about my itty-bitty, tiny, teeny channel. So yeah, it is concerning to me, Annabees. I don't get on TikTok, Snapchat, or X. Me neither, Jackie Bushable. I stick with YouTube and that's it. You know, I thought I would branch out some, but no, I don't. And Anna B says, Jackie, I have TikTok, I think is what you mean with the TT. Bye, BoobTube. Have a great day. Bye, BoobTube. Dear. Yeah. We love you, BoobTube. You're awesome. And your channel is really small, but very sharp. And I don't know if you have a sense if you've been shadow banned, but shadow banning is real. It happens to the best of the content creators. Bill Barr is a probably the most famous, successful comedian right now. If you haven't heard of him, probably most of you have. And Bill Barr got shadow banned on X recently. So that was because he said some things that E didn't like. Imagine that. The big E not liking. It's just comedy. Isn't he the one who said, like, oh, what, we can't have comedy anymore? BT is very sharp. Yes, yes, yes. We love BoobTube. So this is a good quote that I got for you. I wrote this down to share. Money is like manure. It's not worth anything unless it's spread around, encouraging young things to grow. I like that. I'd never heard of it. And this quote, we live on a razor's edge between the past and the future. That's kind of cool, huh? So a lot of companies globally, excuse me, have curtailed business in PP's country since he invaded the country of Ukraine. So a lot of companies curtailed business because of that, which I think is smart. Like, you don't want to support the pee-pee president in his country and the evil things that he does with people and money. And, you know, they've been trolling our country for years. They've been trolling our electronic devices for years. So it's something we need to be aware of and know that that's not paranoia. So I think yesterday at the end of my video, I spoke some about Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law dying in a Tesla a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. I want to say it was March 11th of 2024. So Mitch McConnell's wife's sister, she was a CEO billionaire of some type of importing company, I think, shipping company. And she died in her car, her Tesla, and I call it that because, you know, Donnie calls them that because he doesn't know what they're called. Her Tesla